Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Nero. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience with reading my first ever manga, and really my first ever kind of comic in general. On my channel, I'd like to talk about kind of books and literature, and more so classics is what I try to read. I do read fiction as well, but I don't really read manga. I think the reason because of that is I'm not the biggest fan of anime. I've actually never watched an anime. I've given some a try and just never really got into it. The other day when I was letting my friend borrow some books, he let me borrow some of his books as well, and he gave me 5 books of the Hunter x Hunter series. And this is the first book that I finished reading. So where do I begin with this, right? As a first time reading manga, I found it really cool to have images alongside the words or the text. I know it sounds super basic, but just having the art there or a different form of art add on to what's being said. For books that are not mangas, you would have to envision it in your own head. While mangas, they give you this artwork, right? And I think the art really does help put you into that atmosphere and the world building. I think specifically for fantasies or, kind of these out of world stories, especially for Hunter x Hunter, where I think the world building, a couple of people have told me the world building in this series is amazing. And I can just see that from the first book alone. I think one of my favorite parts are like the magical beasts and, when they entered into the swamp at the end, a part of, I think, the second phase. And just seeing all of these creatures. I also think there is a lot of emotion in the art, if I'm putting that the correct way. I think just you can just see by the drawings that there's a lot of emotion being portrayed in the art. I don't know if that's the best way to say that, but it just feels like the drawings are not there for no reason, or they aren't there to merely fill up space on the page. They're there for a specific reason, and that is to convey the story, or to convey a specific scene. And specifically, I can give you some examples. This is a pretty cool scene where this guy Hisoka, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the scene here where it's just like you get a bunch of different pieces of art. You have his close-up here, him looking at the crowd here, and it's just like everything is there for a certain reason. I feel like I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it just feels like this plus this drawing at the top here plus this entire view of everyone overlooking. I think it's hard to put it into words, but I think everything is done there for a reason. The art is crucial to the world building, I'd say. I think if I'm reading about this and just merely words, it wouldn't convey the same message as it did. Like, I think the endings is one of my favorite parts from this manga, from this first book. As I mentioned, in the swamp, when you see all these creatures here, and like, for example, the roost raven or the claymore mushroom or the hypnosis butterfly or the frog in waiting, right? You see all these different creatures and just reading about them. It sounds so cool. The ending of this book is also such a great turning point in the manga, because I don't think the entire kind of approach to the Hunter exam, you don't really see any casualties, I'd say, or no one really has too much difficulty with the test, or there are people, of course, that don't make it to the stage that they're at, but when they enter the swamp, everything kind of goes haywire and everything kind of turns into chaos. I really enjoyed how the first book kind of ended. I do plan on reading the second one. I do have all the books here until the 5th book. I'm not sure if there are more books. I don't know. I'd need to check that. But I think this is a great first manga for anyone who'd want to get into manga. As someone who's never read manga, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. And you can read it super quickly compared to any other book. I think that's also something I enjoyed as well, because I can get this through this entire after story in like an afternoon if I really wanted to. As I mentioned, normally I yap about kind of classics on this channel, or books that are not manga, but I decided I want to make a video about this because I read it and because it's out of my comfort zone. And I tried something new, and there might be other people out there that want to get into manga, or just try something out of their comfort zone. And if you give it a try, you might enjoy it. I think I enjoyed this thoroughly, as I mentioned. So I do want to get into the second book. I want to read Vinland Saga as well. One of my friends has been asking me to watch the show, or has been telling me to watch the show. And I think, as I'm not a big fan of anime, I don't know why I'm not a big fan of anime, but I think reading the book is gonna help me, or it would be of much more interest to me reading the manga. So I do plan on reading Vinland Saga after this. If you guys enjoy this video, my thoughts on Hunter x Hunter, I plan to make some more maybe manga reviews on the other manga that I read, maybe an entire series review once I'm done this entire series, if I do finish it, and then hopefully on to Vinland Saga afterwards. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.